Hello and welcome. It's David with Ag Economic Insights, joining me today to talk about the Ag Forecast Network and the question of the week. And this is a topic that we haven't talked about in this segment before. Uh, it's the election. We have two questions thinking about the election coming up here in a few weeks in November. The first one is on the presidential race. The second one is on the Senate. And this is a topic that I think is really important, and it's one of the most popular. The presidential question is the most popular question in the Ag Forecast Network right now. Almost all the users have a forecast for that, and it's changed. It's had some variability over the last several months. We'll take a look at that in a second. But it's a little bit of background here. Brent and I have noticed a lot of articles or polls or Twitter things that have commented about farmers or ranchers or agribusinesses or fill in the blank supporting one candidate. And they do a poll and say, do you support this candidate? And they share the results. And then there's some sort of extrapolation about the implications for the election or whatnot. And that's interesting. It's kind of one of those ideas that on the surface resonates with our thinking, but it doesn't tell us a lot about how we should make plans or decisions. And so we think those are very misleading. And so we need to think about um, not who we're going to vote for or who we're going to support. That's one issue, right? And that's an important issue. But we also need to think about what do we think the outcome is going to be? What's the probability of this or that candidate or this or that party winning the election? And those can be different. It's important to recognize that those might be different, those might be the same, but we need to untangle those as we think through our decision-making process. So I'm going to jump into the forecast network and take a look at the two questions. Again, the first one here is on the presidency. It's what's the probability of Donald Trump being sworn in as president of the United States on January 20th, 2021, the inauguration. And as you can see, the consensus here has had a lot of variability. Again, I should back up here. This is not my forecast. I usually show you my forecast. This is a demo account that we have set up, and so there, no forecast in here. This gets cleared out on a regular basis, and so this forecast doesn't count. It's just going to show you the consensus. I don't want this video to be about what my forecasts are specifically. I want you to think about the probability, what the consensus is showing, and what your expectations are. So you can see there's about a 60% probability from the consensus throughout most of the summer. This settled lower down to 40% in August and then turned around and started trending higher. Currently a little bit below 60%, but I briefly touched that 60%. So you can get your forecast in there, see what your thoughts are. The other one is control of the Senate. What's the probability of the Republicans holding more than 50 seats in the Senate as of January 3rd, 2021? Again, take a look at the probabilities here. This is a new question, so I got a lot of movement here in the first few days. It's currently at 42% probability of that happening. This is an interesting question. Of course, everyone's mind is, will the Democrats or will the Republicans win control of the Senate? And if you read the deeper background information story we have here, you're going to see there's some interesting nuances here. First, there's a special election in Arizona, and the winner of that will take office potentially as soon as the end of November. And then there's another special election going on in Georgia. And so the point here is sometimes the questions we have to write so that we get a resolvable answer might be a little bit different than what we are traditionally thinking about. That said, this is the way we frame the question up. January 3rd is whenever the new Congress gets started. There'll be a swearing in of the new congressional members, and so that will be the date when we look and see how many seats are being held by each party, and we'll make a resolution to this forecast. So again, these questions are coming to a close. Get your forecasts in, get your expectations updated. I had a lot of people telling me they were updating their question for the president over the last few weeks, so want to get your forecast in, get that going as well. So also interesting, worth noting, there's several other sources out there that have these kind of probability markets on these types of questions, and so you can go in and see what they're thinking about. I I looked at 538 the other day and the probabilities they had for both the presidents and the Senate. They have both of those races. They're providing probabilistic forecasts, and so show your expectations and get that updated. Again, we'll follow up here in a few weeks as we start to get the results, and we'll look forward to catching you in a future update. Thanks so much.